Hello students, welcome to the last part, that is part 5 of the first unit of the calorimetry chapter. In this last part we are going to discuss about the calorimeter. Calorimeter is a device which is used to measure the heat energy gained or lost by a body. What are its different parts? Let us see. A calorimeter vessel basically consists of a wooden jacket inside which we have placed a copper vessel which is made up of very thin sheet of the copper vessel. The gap between the copper vessel and the wooden jacket is filled with a good quality insulator like wool or cotton, etc. Then there is a wooden lid also, in which we have made two holes. These two holes are just broad enough so that through one hole we can pass or suspend a thermometer, and through another hole we can suspend a stirrer which is also made up of copper. Now this device is working on the principle of law of conservation of energy. So we must make some arrangement inside it so that there is no loss of the heat energy. In order to do that, we are making use of a copper vessel made up of very thin sheet, such that its outer and inner surfaces, outer and inner layers are highly polished. They are polished so that the heat loss due to the process of radiation, it can be minimized. The gap between the copper vessel and the wooden jacket is filled with the wool so that the energy lost can be minimized due to the process of conduction. Wooden lid is also placed on the top so that the heat loss can be minimized due to the convection. Because this is not an ideal apparatus, so we can only minimize the energy loss, we cannot completely remove it. Also, we are making use of only copper to make the calorimeter, which is generally known as the copper calorimeter. Reason being, two reasons are there. First of all, copper is a very good conductor, and second, it has a very low value of the specific heat capacity. Because of these two reasons, copper is used for making the calorimeter vessel. How these two properties of the copper metal make it helpful for us to be used as the calorimeter vessel, we will see later. So copper is used for making the calorimeter vessel because it is a good conductor of heat. So it soon acquires the temperature of its contents, and also it has the low value of the specific heat capacity. There are some other materials also which have specific heat capacity value even less than that of copper, but they are not useful for us. What is the principle of the calorimeter? The principle of calorimeter is also known as the principle of method of mixtures. What is the statement? It states that if there is no loss of heat energy to the surroundings, then heat energy lost by the hot body is always equal to the heat energy gained by the cold body. So the basic working principle of the calorimeter is that if there is no energy lost to the environment or the surrounding, then the heat energy lost by the hot body is always equal to the heat energy gained by the cold body. That is, heat lost by the hot body equal to heat gained by the cold body, provided no loss of heat takes place to the surrounding. This principle is based upon the law of conservation of energy. Now we can generate a mathematical statement from this theoretical statement of the calorimeter, principle of calorimeter, and we will see how that calorimeter vessel can be used to determine the specific heat capacity of any object. So in order to do that, what we do, we take two bodies, body 1 which is a solid body whose specific heat capacity is to be determined. Then we take a body 2 which is a reference body. In most of the cases it is water whose specific heat capacity is already known to us. In order to determine the specific heat capacity, we need to calculate heat lost or heat gained by the body. That we can already calculate because we have already seen the equation delta H equal to C into M into delta T. So what we do, in order to determine, we take known masses of both the bodies, solid body of mass m1 and known mass of water, that is m2. Let C1 is the specific heat capacity of solid, which is unknown, we want to determine it, and C2 is the specific heat capacity of the water, which is already known to us, which is equal to 4200 joule per kg per Kelvin. For the determination of specific heat capacity, we transfer a known mass of the water inside the copper vessel and wait for some time, because there will be some transfer of the heat energy between the copper vessel and the water also. So we need to wait till both of them attain a thermal equilibrium, so that the temperature of the water and the copper vessel becomes equal to T2, which is our lesser temperature. Then we take the solid of mass m1 whose specific heat capacity we have to determine, and we heat it in a hypsometer tube to a known value of the temperature T1. As soon as the temperature of the body reaches T1, we immediately transfer it inside the copper vessel and we close the lid. Thereafter, we gently start stirring the content of the copper vessel, that is the solid and the water, such that there is a transfer of the heat energy from the solid towards the water. So solid starts losing heat energy, water starts gaining the heat energy. After some time, a thermal equilibrium will be attained, at which both the temperature of solid and the water will become equal to T. Therefore, in that case, change in the temperature of the solid body will be T1 minus T, and that of the body 2, that is water, it will be T minus T2. So solid body's temperature is decreasing due to loss of heat, so its temperature change will be T1 minus T. Water is gaining the heat energy, temperature is rising, so T is greater than T2, so its temperature change will be T minus T2. So heat energy is lost by the solid and gained by the water. So now if we apply the principle of calorimetry, that is heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body, then delta H lost must be equal to delta H gained, provided no loss of heat is there. So in this case, heat lost by the hot body will be M1 C1 into T1 minus T, which must be equal to M2 C2 into T minus T2. So the change in the temperatures we will determine with the help of the thermometer. C2 specific heat capacity of water is known, mass of water taken also known. We also know the mass of the solid whose specific heat capacity we have to determine. So out of these 6 quantities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 5 are known. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are known. So substituting the required values, we can find out the value of the C1. So this is how calorimeter help us to determine the specific heat capacity of any solid. But this equation is valid only if copper vessel itself does not absorb the heat from the hot body. So when hot body is placed inside the copper vessel, there must be heat exchange between the body and the water. Copper itself must not absorb any amount of heat energy, but we know in a real condition it is not possible. So copper vessel will also absorb some amount of heat energy from the hot body. So in this case, there will be a mild change in this equation, that is heat lost by the hot body will be equal to heat gained by cold body plus heat gained by the copper vessel. So in that case, the equation will change to M1 C1 T1 minus T equal to M2 C2 T minus T2 plus mass of copper into specific heat capacity of copper into temperature change of copper vessel. Or because T minus T2 is common for water and the copper vessel, so this equation also become equal to M1 C1 T1 minus T equal to M2 C2 plus M copper C copper all multiplied by T minus T2, where M copper is the mass of copper vessel and C copper is the specific heat capacity of the copper vessel. So here we have determined the specific heat capacity of a solid with the help of a reference body, which is water. Important point, If solid whose specific heat capacity we have determined is not dissolvable in the water, then we will take our reference body as water. But if the solid whose specific heat capacity is to be determined is dissolvable in the water, then we will not make use of water, but we will make use of some other liquid whose specific heat capacity is already known to us. But important point, the object, the solid body, will not be dissolvable in that particular liquid. Thank you.